Hey, a folk studio here. As you can tell, I ran out of music to play, and I had to rely on the LA Noir theme. Alright, open mic should be open, so hopefully, if you're watching in game, which I actually don't know who it is, but if you are, you can hopefully spec from in game. Anyhow, got regular dangerous going up against the Quad City Dendies one more time. Now, last game, I feel like Nabi, they had their plan, they had their goal, but it didn't work out. Like, they were scared, they were nervous, they were looking at the early game going, how do we not die? Which I can understand, because when I play video games, and when I play Dota specifically, if I die in the early game, I feel terrible. It usually snowballs into a bad mid game, and then if I even reach late game, it's me sitting in Fountain getting camped. So, Nabi got a little bit scared, I'd say, and then they didn't play to win. They played to not lose. And if you play to not lose, you're relying on the enemy team to make mistakes. None of their lanes could really make anything happen. And unfortunately, Ember Spirit versus Razor is just an absolute... It's a bad matchup for Ember Spirit. So hopefully, they've kind of got it sorted out. They're confident, they're ready. I think they can make some stuff happen. We do see Darkster being banned out. Had a great gameplay from Geg last game. Lycanthrope hitting the bans one more time, as well as Mirana. So I'd say this is what I like to see in bans. You still have that stuff you don't want to see. Shadow Shaman, huge pain in the butt to deal with. Lycanthrope, terrifying pusher. But pick out the Darkster. Pick out the other pick that worked out really well for the enemy team. Make sure they don't really abuse it nor use it. Now, Razor being picked up by Nabi. We saw last game that the Quad City Dendies did not have a good option, or did not have a good choice fighting that Razor. They put Ember up against them. Ember can't do a lot versus Razor. Even though Razor did not put a point in the static link, which I will once again judge DJ for that. Even without that static link, he still won lane. It's still such a difficult lane for Ember Spirit to do anything in. Just against any good constant range harass, he's got his problems. Especially if it's tanky range harass, because he can't just kill the guy he's up against. Line being locked in for regular dangerous. There's some great play coming out. I believe that was from Aegis with that regular dangerous play. Or that lion play. Some great setups came out from Darkseer though, and that setup is no longer available, so we'll see how this plays out. Who will the next pick be? Who's that higher priority pick? They had Medusa last game. Medusa worked out quite well, but that's more of a last pick type situation. Who's going to be that safe pick that they can know can either survive versus Razor, or is going to be a strong carry that, you know, makes a statement but doesn't have problems of her own? Luna being locked in. Now, Luna is a good hero, but she can have her problems. Someone like Doom can actually be pretty scary versus her, because Doom will do so much damage just through the Doom itself. Luna might actually have trouble surviving that. So that's a solid pickup. That means, you know, any squishy support, any squishy character, if he gets ulted by a Doom and there's any follow-up damage from like a Plasma field by Razor, people are going to take a lot of damage quite quickly. So no, I'm enjoying this. I'm liking this pick. I'm liking the Doom picks. Nabi, I feel, are a lot more confident. The question is, how do they lane it? Doom is someone that we usually see go solo offlane while your team has a jungler. Neither team went for either a tri-lane nor jungle last game. So that means you put Doom in the jungle. Don't know if you've ever seen Doom jungle. It is not consistent. You can really get screwed over by creep spawns. And that can happen for any jungler, of course, but in the case of Doom, because you are using that instant consume, and you are using the abilities, like you have to rely on, you need a good experience. You need creep hands to give you good experience, you need good spells. That's the case with, you know, Chen and most heroes that go jungle and rely on creeps. But Chen, even if he, you know, persuades a, I'd say less than stellar creep, or persuades a bad creep, he will still have that base attack damage from that creep, that base HP to tank. In the case of Doom, if you get a bad pickup, if you get a bad spawn, you don't have anybody to tank. You're going to take the damage yourself. You're going to get wrecked quite quickly. Lifestealer being banned out one more time. A little bit surprised by that, but I guess there's that Lifestealer ringer up on the side of Nabi. Witch Doctor being banned out as well, so Mitchie D a little bit limited in his options now. What do they pick out? What do they ban out against this team? I'd say I'd be a little bit scared of any good blink follow-up, but what would that blink follow-up be? Because if you get a blink on Doom, it's been one of the more popular builds lately. He just blinks on top of you and wrecks you. I'm kind of wondering, who do they take out of the equation here? They could go for the hard carries. I don't think there's too many hard carries left. Lifesteal's also already been banned out, and I'd say he's quite good mid-late game. They take out the Weaver. That's a solid choice. Their Doom's already been picked by the enemy team. So if they do go for a Weaver on the side of Nabi, guess what? They don't have one of those really solid counters for him, which is that Doom pick. you know, blink dust, level death, Doom. It's a fun combo, and it kills Weavers quite well. Now, what do they pick in response, though? If they go for a squishy support, that support risks outright dying versus Doom versus Razor. They could go for a Tidehunter. Tidehunter has that same problem, but you can always keep him in the back, or you can initiate fights with him before Doom can get the ultimate off. So I'd say Tidehunter would be an okay pick here. And he kind of fits into most lanes. You can put him in the 1v1 off lane. You can put him as a support role that just rotate him towards the jungle. Like I'd say anything but hard support is a good role for Tidehunter. You can put him mid, and he will beat melee heroes. Like Tidehunter is very versatile. That hero is broken. Let's see. Medusa being picked up one more time. This is now a lot scarier. I want to say Medusa's mana shield gets... Actually, I don't know if it gets disabled by Doom. I want to say yes, but toggles, especially mana-free or mana-less toggles, are kind of weird. The one I know of is that Witch Doctor's heal will actually not drain mana, but keep healing if you Doom him. So Witch Doctor's not a good Doom target. I'm wondering if Medusa's mana shield is... muted by the Doom, which I'm going to be reading chat for if anybody happens to know. I would love to know. Because if that's the case, then Medusa's effectiveness reduced by half, essentially. Death Prophet, solid pickup, safe mid laner, can anti-push quite well, and I like that just for the fact that you can get doomed as Death Prophet, your ghosties, your sisters, will keep on flying. So Mana Shield is not disabled by Doom. Thank you guys for the information. With that being said, I now like Medusa a lot more. Before it was like, well, if she gets doomed, she's gone. But she'll build a leak, it's most likely. So it wastes a bit of time. Like, Doom won't have the insta-doom on her. He'll have to cast something else first, which does waste some time. And give a chance to get the ultimate off, to get the mana shield off. And Medusa herself will be very tanky, have a lot of generation. Doom's just not good on her, against her right now. She doesn't cast spells, really. She doesn't do anything. Medusa's not exactly a high priority clicker in terms of spells. Light, of course, still a viable Doom target. Luna actually is a pretty good Doom target just because you can stop the Eclipse. You can get her, well, you can't cancel the Eclipse, but you can get her before she casts it. And she's just so squishy. Like, she is a very easy to kill hero. A lot of people build Helm of the Dominator on her as well, which means that if they do go for a Lifesteal build, Lifesteal not really effective when you're doomed and it's muted. Question is, who do you follow it up with over on the side of Nabi? They've got the Warlock pick. Warlock is an amazing hero. His cooldowns are all ridiculous, but that's because every spell he has is just phenomenal. The chains will follow well with Razor. The chains follow well with Doom's AoE. If they want to set up a good Doom or a good static link or a good anything, they can just toss down the Infernal, and that sets up such a huge team fight just on its own. Like, there is so much control offered in that Warlock pick. And I'd say that the team, the way Regular Dangerous built last game, they were not the most mobile team. Now, this is becoming a... Alright, this team's getting pretty fun. If they get the blink on Earthshaker, they now have Warlock and Earthshaker combo, and then, you know, that's going to kill someone like Lion, kill someone like Luna if they survive. Well, guess what? They have Razor, who will easily follow up on that because he's so mobile. And they have the Doom for someone scary like Death Prophet. This is now a really forward team. Nabi want to be the guy starting fights. Because if they start a fight with Echo Slam, start a fight with Warlock Ultimate, they will counter that. So they'll just win the fight. There will be no way for Regular Dangerous to counter it out right now. We do see Tidehunter being banned out. Tidehunter would be very effective for either side. I'd say the question is going to be what are the lanes for Nabi going to be. Because if they did pick up a Tidehunter, it would have to be maybe like Doom safe lane, Tidehunter off lane, some sort of combination like that. It gets a bit weird if they did pick up the Tidehunter. Tidehunter would have been
5 seconds remaining.
What are not or Regular Dangerous lanes going to be? They're going for a standard duo lane. Alright, I can appreciate that. I think from Nabi I would like to see, I guess, a jungler. Like, they don't really, they need someone that can either work well with Earthshaker and limited influence. He doesn't really have a lot of mana in lane, he can't spam nonstop, and he of course is melee, so he's not going to be the most effective in harass. So they either need someone who's kind of independent and they could go for some sort of weird duo lane situation, or they go for a jungler Doom off lane. He can farm it up, and they have Earthshaker just pull nonstop and just try and get levels in the jungle.
10 seconds remaining.
Vengeful Spirit is banned out. I'm not sure how I would feel with Vengeful in this case. they need disengage. They need ways to get out of a fight or to survive the
Reserve
initial
time.
damage. Omni Knight wouldn't work out too effectively because there's so much damage that is actually magical damage. I would say with their lanes, they already have a mid laner. I'd say this would be a good Rubik game. Would love to see a Rubik pick up just because if they get a good ultimate off, Rubik can easily counter that out. You know, Fidger, a great Rubik steal. Doom, an amazing Rubik steal. And if they do have a Rubik, he is a high priority target for a Doom that is not necessarily... Like, he's someone that you Doom to stop them from doing stuff, but there's still a lot of spells that would get off on the side of regular dangerous if they do go for a Rubik Doom instead of someone else. I would like to see a Rubik, but I don't know if they're confident playing him. Plus, I might be speaking out of my ass, to be quite honest. It might be a terrible pick. We'll see how this goes. Disruptor again. There we go. Alright, that's a solid pick. That's a really good pick. Disruptor stops blink initiation. He's got good ways to disengage. He gets out of fights. And he also gets into fights quite well. So that's a solid pickup. These lanes are going to be a little bit janky on the side of regular dangerous just because you're going to have two, I'd say, relatively hard farmed carries. Luna, of course, can get by with a little bit less farm than Medusa because at a minimum, you have the ultimate from Luna. Medusa does have her own ultimate, which is, you know, the turning people to stone is effective, but if she's not tanky, she will quickly die to Doom or Shaker Warlock. Oh, Warlord being picked up. Alright. So, I have no idea how these lanes will go. I don't know what's going to happen. I have not really seen these matchups before. If it's Troll Warlord and Earthshaker in the same lane, Troll Warlord can do okay on his own. He doesn't really have that many spells that I'd say keep him safe. Like, he's got a ranged attack, which is nice, but if you actually go for last hits, you run the risk of the enemy team. They can cast a lot more at range. Luna's nuke, Disruptor's pretty much entire kit, can easily hit Troll Warlord at range, and if you want to be effective as Troll, you got to go melee for the Whirling Axes. Melee Whirling Axes is ridiculous, but if you're going melee, if you're getting in the fight, you run the risk of you know, having to engage against two ranged heroes. If you look over the side of regular dangerous, they are all ranged. They are not a melee-oriented team. They just want to stay safe. They are spamming up mana. Wait a second. I don't think I agree with that, but I think I agree with how it's being spammed. I want to tell them to spam it more, except I'd say that in all chat, they'd be able to hear me. Wait, can I chat here? Man, I've never casted a game like this before.
30 seconds to battle.
Cool. Alright. Early lanes look like it's going to be Troll, Warlord, and Warlock top. That's actually a kind of a scary lane, because if Troll Warlord does actually get the engagement off, Warlock has either a lot of sustain to keep him in the fight, or a lot of damage to keep the enemy dead. Bot lane going to be Doom Earthshaker. This is not a reliable lane. That's the word I'm going to use, reliable. This is not a reliable lane. I do not like this lane. Well, let's go ahead, go into the teams, I guess, and actually introduce everybody one more time. Got Science Grown on the Troll Warlord. Repping the Warlock is good old-fashioned TC, but a god. Razor being played by Strom again. I was calling him Storm again, wasn't I? I mean, Strom again. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry, Strom. Dabe playing the Doom, and Schmegig playing the Earthshaker, and that would be Nabi, the Quad City Dendies on the dire side. For Radiant, or Regular Dangerous, we got DJ KFM on Luna. Aegis playing that Disruptor. Medusa, played by Albino Albert. Top lane is Gag on the Death Prop, an effective offlaner as we saw before. And backing him up is going to be Mitchie D on that line. He's been to hell and back to hell. And back. As for lanes, let's check out bottom. They have to push here early. They have to kind of stay far forward because they don't want to just sit there and take auto attacks. Disruptor does toss out the kinetic field. Unfortunately, not a lot of follow-up coming out from it. Even if they'd been in range to auto attack, I don't think there would have been a lot of follow-up regardless. So, not a long cooldown though, only 14 seconds at rank 1, which, given his other spells, 16 for Thunderstrike, and the minute 5 seconds for Glimpse, it's a short cooldown. Mid lane, this is kind of an odd lane. Medusa will not want to do anything ever, and just run from Razor if Razor does that. Razor is faster than Medusa is a problem. Now we got Strom, who has taken that Podostatic Link. He's got an extra 35 damage. Medusa just can't. She's not going to do anything in lane. What she could do is actually apply Split Shot and do negative damage or something. Top lane, we can see the push going on. It's going to be a very push-heavy lineup if Mitchie D goes for a similar build to last game. He didn't play line last game, but if he does go for that Mana Drain build, it's going to be less effective, but funnier and obnoxious. And they can just go for that constant push with a spike, with Death Prophet and her spammy nuke. Crypt Swarm, always fun. I want to say that was Carry On Swarm in Dota 1, but I cannot remember for the life of me. It's fun because I never say certain hero names, so having to say them now, I want to say the Dota 1 name because it's what I remember. So Dave goes to the jungle and he finds an Ogre Magi. So he's got the ice armor now. This is actually not super amazing on anybody except, you know, like a Doom, because now he's got 11 armor. You can't spam this too effectively, but it has a long duration. It lasts for 45 seconds. So he's actually going to be able to keep himself armored up, which as Doom, you start with 0 armor. It's actually pretty solid. I'm going to kill you pickup. Well, he doesn't need to get kills right now. It's a great I'm going to farm pickup. Sun comes out from Mitchie onto Warlock. Mitchie a little bit squishy as that line. Going to have to back on out.
Middle is missing.
Bot lane Luna going for kind of like this 1v2 situation. Doom does really good auto attack damage. Same thing with Earthshaker, especially if he has the Enchant Totem used up. And DJKFM does not do that much damage early on. Luna is okay. They nerfed her attack damage though quite a while ago, so she's still not super effective. Trade going on top lane. TC but got taking a lot of damage, but they do have Science Grown off to the side. Not hit by or chains do hit both Geg and Mitchie D, so they're going to be forced to kind of back on out, especially because they're out of mana. Mitchie D going for the non-mana drain build. A lot more common, but unfortunately it does put him at risk of running out of mana. But he is, once again, not going up against 2 melee heroes. Go ahead, turn on last hits. 14-2 for Medusa. So Medusa actually winning out the mid lane despite Razor having that static link. Razor, of course, has a absolute garbage attack animation, especially compared to, I'd say, other heroes. It's okay once you get used to it, but it is still not that great. That could be something holding him back. Medusa herself, though, doesn't have the best either. So the battle of mechanics going on mid lane. Bot lane, you can see that Doom doing okay, 13-3. That's actually pretty damn good given the circumstances. He is a melee hero, but the frost armor keeps him quite tanky. And that is actually really, like, that is cool. I think I'm gonna have gone to look for another creep just because who gets the Magi? But that's so much tankiness that he just does not normally have. Damn, I like it. Is this okay? It's only melee. I wasn't sure if it was a radius. Some of the Tiny's armor. Overall, the lanes are fairly passive. There's less of a reliable engage. Once again, like, people just don't have easy ways to commit. Earthshaker can commit bottom, but then, you know, Dave is going for more of a passive start with the Frost Armor start. Double damage and being picked up by Science Grown. Does get the slow onto Albert. They're not going to commit, though, not going to follow that up. I think they could have gone for a pincer movement, but unfortunately, going for the safer play. I say unfortunately because I want to see blood. I want to see action. Mana Shield is popped by Medusa. And what's unfortunate about that right now is that Mana Shield just doesn't block a lot of damage because of how quickly it's going to
Dire's
drain.
middle tower is under attack.
It's still kind of tankiness. A little bit. It's nice, but it's not going to make her super beefy. Medusa looks like she was going towards, the secret shop. Going to buy some mana regeneration. Going for that early Lincoln Spirit one more time. Lincoln's is quite good this match, just versus Doom. Doom does have level death to cast for the extra spam ability. Now he picks up the Satyr, and the Satyr I like because he's got Unholy Aura. Unholy Aura is a great regeneration spell. This is something that I'd say is more consistent with what you see with Jungle Doom, but because he's also going to be backing up Earthshaker, who will take a lot of damage in lane, who is currently taking a lot of damage in lane, who actually, if they do have a glimpse, no glimpse available, haven't ranked it up yet, they might have been able to secure that kill, but as it stands, he's actually going to stink quite well. He's got 12.3 health generation because good old-fashioned Doom has that Satyr Aura going with him. So this is I'd say a more common creep. This is what you kind of expect to see, and it's going to make him really tanky, or really sustainable, but less tanky. We're going to see CS. Luna's not doing too hot. You know, she's been against 2 for quite a lot of this, as Disruptor's been pulling and going for his own experience and levels. But Luna, just her early base damage is not fantastic. As, like I said, they nerfed it a while ago, and she does have her low range. So even though Earthshaker Doom not the most threatening lane, because she has to get so close for CS, she can't get near the wave too often in situations like this, because Doom can try and catch her out. Doesn't have a good creep to actually lock her down, but if Earthshaker gets a couple stuns off, it might force her back. It might force her to, you know, play passively for a while. So it is not the easiest lane. It's not like, I don't know, a max range sniper going up against these two who would have the time of his life. But of course, sniper would be so ridiculously squishy versus that Doom. Mid lane, you can see Saglink being popped up by Stramageddon. Has it at rank 2, so those few seconds will actually take good old Medusa quite low. I don't think he actually has a point in the Unstable Current, unfortunately, which would be handy as it stops those direct Mystic Snake chains. They've taken a lot of damage. They do have a fissure for disengage. Does land onto DJ, but now the question is, can Earthshaker get out of here? Out comes the Eclipse. Can they pick up this first blood? No, the procs just don't land. Too many creeps nearby. Only get a couple of nukes down. That's only level 3 Lucent Beam. That's level 6 Luna. Top lane Mitchie D, not quite level 6 himself, so they can't go for that ultimate with Finger of Death. Do catch on a Dave, though. Fissure only connects on 1. Can they pick up the kill? No, not quite enough. Just short of the damage. This is just like Luna, the horror story. You get so many chances for a kill, but Lucent Beam just not level 4 yet, as you do require level 7. That is unfortunate. Eclipse does use current level of Lucent Beam, so you really need level 7 to get that max effectiveness. It's still a good spell at level 6. It is still good damage, but it's not quite enough damage, and you are at the risk of RNG if you use it in the creep wave like that. I think it was only 1 hit to Earthshaker. One more hit would have picked up the kill earlier, giving them first blood. Check out the gold graph. Let's see how, ooh, not B. Quad City Dendies are going for that dunk strat, already ahead by over 1,000 gold. In terms of experience, I believe it's a little bit closer. Actually be in favor now of regular dangerous. I'd say still a really good late game from both teams, but that Doom mid game presence, that is very, very scary. Up top lane, Gag just kind of farming on his own, pushing it out. Troll Roller doing really well in the farm. He's got a relatively free lane as both Death Prophet and Lion don't have, I'd say, safe harass. They can do quite a bit. Like raising the escape out mid lane, they can do quite a bit and survive, but they don't have the safest options. Unfortunately, poor old Mitchie D, not quite level 6 yet. If he does hit level 6, that's going to be an almost guaranteed kill, but it does have that long cooldown Finger of Death at rank 1, 160 seconds. So I'd say he needs to just get experience wherever he can. Sit in lane and soak it up, sit in the jungle and help pull. He needs to hit level 6, he needs to hit ASAP. Doom himself is level 6, does have invisibility, does have the mana for both Doom and the Scorched Earth, which is not that common, but it will be enough to pick up a kill onto someone like DJ off to the side. If they land the fissure, like this is going to be an almost guaranteed kill. Almost out comes a Doom. DJ is fast though. Can he walk out of here? I pressed the wrong button, so we'll watch the escape from a cool angle. And they actually could not converge, unfortunately. The fissure did stun, but didn't actually lock down Luna. So with that high move speed, he's able to walk on out of there and actually survive. That Doom almost took her down. Could have been a deny as
Dire structures are fortified.
Aegis just gave her a tango. Like, just straight up gave it to her, which was kind of fun to watch. So, they have the combo, they just didn't really have a way to set up the range for Earthshaker, and Doom not in range to actually get an auto attack off. I think an auto attack and maybe a shot out from the Satyr nuke would have been enough. I think he had just enough mana for the Satyr nuke. Well, you know, when you go for the long range initiation, especially as Earthshaker, before you have a max rank fissure, you know, you have that shorter stun duration. You do risk not being able to secure kills.
Is missing.
Level 6 not quite secured for Disruptor, almost there. Level 6 not quite secured for Lion, not actually almost there. Hasn't really found that much experience. Has one item in his inventory, Smoke at a Sea. He's going for the hard carry, or the hard support. And that's kind of scary because Lion is someone who, if he falls behind, he just keeps dying. He doesn't really stop dying. He's a very, very squishy character, and he's very slow, doesn't have mobility options. Like, if Mitchie doesn't start doing stuff, I fear for his life. Check out gold net worth. Doom taking the lead for net worth, not uncommon. Even though he's in, I'd say, off lane, he does have some good presence from Earthshaker. That threat of a stun is pretty scary. And with Devour, he's always going to have decent farm. Is he going for a Midas build? He does have the Midas as well. So this would explain a lot of the early gold lead now for the Quad City Dendies. Doom going for Devour build and a Midas build. He's going to have ridiculous farm. Of course he goes for the Devour build, but the Midas build is going to be, he's going to be ridiculously farmed up. You don't always need to go Midas on Doom, but when you do, you get so much money. Aside from that, it's going to be Troll World up the top lane, who is very safe on his own. Going to farm quite well. And Medusa mid lane, who has done a lot for herself. Despite the fact that Medusa is not exactly the best early game character, I guess just the constant harass from auto attacks and the constant spam of Mystic Snake has really kind of shut down Razor, unfortunately. Go back to last hits and denies, though. Now it's going to be a little bit more important later on. Look at experience, though. I believe this is still in favor, of regular dangerous. And this kind of shows how lane is going. They may not be getting that many last hits, but they're still getting experience. Gag is now level 8 himself. Mitchie D still really needs level 6. Like, he really needs this level. He will get kills once he's level 6, but he has to actually sit in lane and get it. And he's going for the hard roam, which, well, unfortunately, it's not getting him experience. He's level 5. He's getting there. He's almost there. He just needs one more level. He's not a level 4 Lion anymore. But he's fallen far behind, and Lion, he's effective always because of the stun and because of Hex, but you really want to get level 6, level 11, so you can actually use his ultimate more than once every 2.5 minutes.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
We leave Medusa alone in the mid lane, has a double damage rune. She can probably take this tower. No fortification available for Nabi. Quad City Denny's will be saying goodbye to that tower. You can see Razor heading towards the mid lane, but it's going to be a little too late, as it should be right about now. But then the tower goes down.
Tower has fallen.
Doom and Earthshaker are now, they're scary just because of the damage from Fissure is not phenomenal, but it's enough to make a Doom scary. But because of the presence of Disruptor and Luna, they can both back each other up quite well. If Luna gets initiated on, what do? You go ahead, you run away with the high move speed, and Disruptor can easily just toss down his kinetic field, toss down the Glimpse, and they should get away from that. They can try and make something happen here, but Glimpse is a short-range spell. The Fissure does block him out. Good Fissure coming out. Speg has a good disengage. And it will be a safe disengage and run away from Doom. We're 13 minutes in. There is no first blood. Please. Every other team, just like nothing but, I don't know, Svens, Coddles, and Ursas. You're just trialing that. So you can do a lot of damage to kill each other early on. Please, just murder each other. Razor pops the ultimate. Not in range though. No real follow-up. No real CC. And he's not too fast yet as he doesn't have his boots. So Medusa just walks away. Pretty casually as well. It's like, that wasn't even a scare. I have to cast spells. I have to use my ultimate. That was just like, you're not going to do it. Warlock ultimate hasn't been used yet. They can pretty much toss that sucker down. And if they have enough follow-up, it's an easy kill. But unfortunately, they're a little bit scared to fully commit. They could try and go for a catch on a Geg here, but invisibility was popped as well, so he's got 2 runes onto him. Actually, Geg can try and start a fight here. He is squishy, but it might be enough to bait out the enemy team. Let him get 1 or 2 auto attacks off, and the Ghost can really deal quite a bit. He pops the phase boots, though, just going to roam away. Smoke is popped. Wasn't spotted out, though. That night vision should have been enough to reduce it. We see a very strong pack now coming out from regular dangerous. They're smoked up. They're going to go ahead, have Albano Albert go back mid lane, though. A little bit scared just because there's so much damage coming out. Mitchie D is actually a little bit of a dangerous position. They do get the Hex on to Stramageddon. Warlock will be going to be huge if we can get a good rock. Out comes the Demon. A lot of damage. Mitchie D being taken out almost by the Demon himself. First blood for the Warlock. Good stun, though, from Albano Albert. Picks up Warlock. In response, Razor going for the chain. The pause comes out as Earthshaker has disconnected. We can go ahead and enjoy this sound. Let's get close. Look at that. You can actually ride the lightning. Anyhow, that was a really good counter initiation from Warlock. They had to catch onto Razor himself. I'm gonna move away from this character. All right. Okay, that's so much better. The fire from Scorched Earth. Let's enjoy some scenic parts of the map. Enjoy these guys. There's really good counter initiation. Mitchie D is just so squishy. As you know, Lion is a squishy character, and he has no stats, nothing to really back up his really just weak base stats and his weak strength growth. 1.7. That's not a lot of HP per level coming out from Lion. And that's going to be the problem for Lion every fight. He's going to be squishy. It's going to be back. It's going to be always dangerous for him to just be in a fight because of that Warlock ultimate. And you saw how quickly he went down. Like, those floating fists and just the immolation aura destroyed Lion. But once he's level 6, if you get the ultimate off, that might be enough for a fight. Had they had the ultimate, they might have been able to pick up Razor, actually. Might have been just short. He's got decent HP, so I think he actually might have survived. We'll see what happens with Blade. Should be able to just kind of walk away from that, though. With the Warlock, they can try and push. The drums get used, actually, and I'm not sure why. Could be going for the collapse on the bot lane, but drums used a bit early. Warlock does go down, and Albert, I think he actually picked up the kill for that. Which, if he did, that's massive gold. That's a lot of gold to get for that. Actually kind of equals out the fight. Actually, Michi D dying for Warlock. If it wasn't First Blood, it would have been a better fight for Regular Dangerous, who should have actually gotten more experience from that. You can, yeah, there's the death of Michi D. There's the death of Warlock. Warlock's worth a bit more experience because he is level, I believe, 8 versus a almost level 6 Michi D. Come on, Mitch, you can do it. You can do it. This will be enough to get him level 6. That ultimate would be so nice for him. Bot lane push coming out. Geg could be going for a Leakage, could be going for a Bloodstone. Both would be effective onto him. Bloodstone's nice just because the raw HP means it's easier to survive a Doom. Of course, the high regeneration makes it very easy as well. Like, Necrophos is someone really hard to Doom because he will be so sustainable if he goes for a Bloodstone style build. And has a mech as well. But we can see bot lane, they're going to try and defend against this push just, you know, with their presence. Haven't really committed anybody up for the defense. Top lane, though, it is Lion and Disruptor going up against Troll Warlord. Lion's very squishy, though, and Lion actually might be dead. Does get the ultimate off, though. In comes Medusa from the side. And that is the rarely seen but highly effective Medusa gank. Albino Albert packs up the haste and just kind of walks at him. He almost going down in the process, but he lands the stun on one, Hex on the other. I like that. I was just like, alright, I gotta do this. I gotta do this fast. He gets him to commit, gets him to turn around for a second, lands both CCs on different characters, which is all he needed. He didn't need to be super efficient there. Didn't need the perfect Earth Spike because it was just delaying until Medusa came in from the side. I really like Ace of Medusa ganks. Those are pretty cool ganks, gonna be honest. And actually, that might be enough to, not quite enough to give Regular Dangerous a gold lead. They are, of course, dealing with Midas and Doom, so that's a lot of income to go up against. If you look at the gold stats, it's gonna be Medusa now in the lead as the triple TP or quadra TP coming out. Glimpse sends back Warlock though, but there's still 3 enemy heroes here. How are they going to deal with this? Earthspike comes out. It stops Silence when the kinetic field might be enough. I think Aegis might have to sacrifice himself. It looks like they're going to be able to walk away from this actually. So Warlord pops the ultimate a little bit late though. Not gonna can they get Michi D? Going to be just one more auto attack. They do pick up the kill. Albino Albert out in front. He's tanky though. It's going to be fine. That is the life you live as a lion with a pair of boots. I don't actually know if he had boots beforehand either. So good chase down, good rundown, good use of the drums. They pick up 1 kill, but that was an expensive kill because that was 3 TPs. Actually, Warlock's TP as well, so 4 TPs. So they pick up 1 kill, but they did spend about 500 gold on it, and they now have 5 committed top, which means down bottom. Geg called on his sisters, and the bottom tower does go down. Looking at the gold swing. Not that much going towards Regular Dangerous, but it is enough. It's going to build up over time. We should see a little bit more spiking out when that tower gets counted up. What I'm scared about is the experience lead, because now up to 2,000, despite the fact that they're behind on gold, they can just kind of delay this out, wait till late game, and Medusa can just, he can tank, or she can tank so much of the enemy team.
Dire structures are fortified.
The one advantage is that if Fraser himself gets tanky, Medusa will have her damage range for quite a bit of that. Like, you can get a good static link on Medusa, and she's not someone who's prone to walking away. Push going out top lane. Doom not quite available. Good 15 more seconds left. We can see every other ultimate available though, except for the Echo Slam over on the side of Nabi. And Echo Slam is available in 8 seconds, but Earthshaker isn't even there. And he doesn't have enough mana to show up and TP there as well. Disruptor ultimate gets used. Eclipse get used. A whole lot, Ult's doing a whole lot of nothing, but it does secure that top tower. And they should just back on out. They should just back the hell on out. Get out of there. Out comes the Warlock Golem. Michi D, not long for the world, does get taken out. They have Albino Hopper just sitting there tanking up, does quite a bit of damage, but the thing is, they don't have any big, scary ultimates anymore. They're out of big, scary ultimates. They're going to have to just walk away from this because they have nothing. Razor coming in from the side does pick up Aegis. They're getting chased down, but Razor, he's fast. Is he Luna fast? Not quite. Albino Albert going to take a little bit of damage as well. They stayed for the fight, but they just whiffed Eclipse. They just whiffed Disruptor's ultimate. Not sure if that was the best plan. They're going to take this top tower quite effectively. Mech is popped. Who got the mech? I want to say it was actually Razor. An early mech by Doom. Also quite a good build. Gives him a lot of armor. Gives him a lot of defense. Ultimate pop by Michi D. I'm quite sure who it hit. In comes Geg though off to the side. He's not too tanky now, but he does have a lot of damage from that level 1 ultimate. Chasing him down, but just not enough follow-up, not enough hard CC. Michi D did have to run the hell away as he's just so squishy. Who did Michi D ult? Did he ult a creep? I'm hating on Michi D, but I love Michi D. I played with him before, he's fun. And also, like, every time I see a low-level Lion, I'm just so scared for them. They're gonna die, and you know they're gonna die. That's the worst thing. Like, other supports, like, alright, they're squishy, but they might make it through. But like a Wisp, a Lion, if they're behind, they are dead. They are not gonna survive anything. Well, we're gonna go ahead and take these Ancients quickly and effectively. Easy farm for him. He has to keep going for that, you know, mid to late game build. Has a Lincolns now, so gonna be nice defense versus the Doom. Really, we don't have a lot of good single target spells. It's gonna be level death and Doom, and you know, they could go for example Shadow Word onto him, but Shadow Word is not the highest ranked spell. Razor does pop out, does annoy Medusa a bit, but nothing too effective. And I want to see how they transition this over on Nabi. Nabi could go for, I'd say, some really good mid-game pushes right now. They have Troll Warlord. If they get to a tower, they will kill that tower incredibly quickly. The problem really is, how do they get to the tower? Can they stop the creep, the anti-push coming out from someone like Death Prophet? And right now they can, because Death Prophet off to the side lane, so they can actually push down this tower. No ultimate available on Mitchie D, no ultimate available from Luna. Should be up in a few seconds, though. Out comes Disruptor's ultimate, not hitting anything, unfortunately. Neither is a kinetic field. It's keeping all the creeps in place, even though they weren't moving. They're still all hit by her spike. They're whipping these big ultimates on the side of regular dangerous, and that's something you can't do. Eclipse has a long cooldown. It's what, 150? Okay, 160 at rank 1, now 150. It's a great that spell. Then you know Luna's just not that effective right now. Has good damage, but she's so squishy. She's gonna get doomed and die. I think actually at this point with the level 2 Doom, level 2 Doom will take out about 3/4 of Luna's HP. With magic resistance maybe 1/2. That Prophet ultimate is pop. Doesn't have a lot of mana though, so it's a little bit risky in that fact. Can't go for super sustained damage on the Death Prophet. Out comes the Golem though. He just taken out off to the side. Disruptor not able to do a whole lot. Albana Albert is hit by the Doom. Just running towards the enemy base, trying to just distract him off to the side. Echo Slam does connect. They do pick up Death Prophet. Albana Albert just going to get chased down off to the side. Mitchie D, one more auto attack will pick him up. One more auto attack. Oh, not quite enough, but he does secure it. TC, but God, it does pick up the kill. Medusa ultimate popped late. Not able to do a whole lot, and Luna surviving off to the side. Unable to pop the Eclipse. They cannot group up against this team right now. They have no one near tanky enough to survive this. The whole lineup for regular dangerous right now is tanky, or is squishy. Medusa does not have good strength growth. You need mana shield. You need to actually kind of double up her HP and get items before she's tanky. And she did survive for quite a while, but the rest of her team died in the meantime. Kind of the same thing for Death Prophet. Is she tanky? Late game, yeah. Once she gets some items, yeah. But early game versus a Warlock ultimate, versus a Doom, versus an Earthshaker, an Echo Slam, even versus the Plasma Field, their team is just so easy to kill. Plasma Field itself is taken out about a quarter of Lion's HP. Disruptor kind of in that same boat. They're very easily being taken out by the incidental AoE. They're not being focused down and they're dying. And that's just the lineup for Nabi. The Quad City Dendies have really good burst AoE. They can try and stop this. They have certain ways, but I'd say they got to calm down. Disruptor, he's popping out Static Storm early. Static Storm is a great spell. That spell is so good. But you can tell, he's tossing it out, going for catches, and it's just he's going for the big risky plays. And when you don't get those big risky plays with someone like Disruptor, his ultimate has an 85-second cooldown. That's long enough. That's long enough where his team won't be able to go ahead and push or do anything really while the ultimate's on cooldown. Stramageddon has the haste. A little bit scary right now. He's still building up though. Still needs to get the Ags. He's relatively close, about 1,500 gold off. That's not amazing, but his farm, if you look at it, it's not that phenomenal. It's something I see quite often, just, mid players transitioning towards the mid game, don't really focus on the farm so much, and end up roaming around the map, making plays happen. He is 105. He has been in most of his team's kills. Well, unfortunately, it has slowed down his farm quite a bit. Check out net worth though. Medusa still in second. Doom though now taking a commanding lead. Has the Midas, has the Devour. We do see initiation on Albana Albert top lane. Edit Link just draining damage right now. Albana Albert can't fight this back. Will now deal 0 damage. Unfortunately, they couldn't get any CC in time. Razor himself doesn't have a whole lot to offer in that case. He is fast, yeah. And he could have popped the ultimate, try to run down Medusa, but that would have just been ultimate for ultimate most likely. You can go ahead and see. Regular Dangerous have really kind of played it back now. Now they're all spread out. They're just farming their jungle, not really pushing up the lanes too hard. They just want to sit back and CS. I can understand that need. The supports are not doing too hot, just kind of low in the levels. Only level 9 Disruptor, level 8 online. You look over at Nabi, everyone's level 10 or higher. How close is that Earthshaker to level 11? He's gonna hit it pretty soon. You know, level 10 not a high experience level. You compare that to Lion. You know, he is not really close to level 9. He's farther away from level 9 than Earthshaker is level 11. And that rank 2 Echo Slime is terrifying. Look at Disruptor, kind of the same deal. They're not at a good point in terms of experience. They're not close to their level 2 ultimate. They're not close to major items. And they need to find a way to farm up as supports. Like, Disruptor is a good support with no items. Same thing with Lion. But if you do start building those items, if you do get a mech on Disruptor, if you do get an Ags on Disruptor, they're phenomenal carries, or they're almost carries at that point. Like, I think Disruptor, he can't carry a team quite on his own, but if you get an Ags ultimate from him, it's close to the same thing.
Illusion.
And unfortunately, these poor supports, and I'm using poor both ways. They just can't do a lot right now. They just can't survive the incidental AoE. This is regular Dangerous' time to just farm up and play passive. If they do kind of push out lanes, keep Nabi, the Quad City Dendies, from doing anything, it could be... Oh, I caught that too. I'm sorry, DJ. I'm sorry to catch the fat finger. That's unfortunate, dude. Luckily, Nabi don't know, but the problem is that might have been a good indication that something's up. And I believe actually they might have seen the animation as well, so I'm not positive if they do know that. Yeah, they don't know. They don't know that ultimate got used, so that's good for regular Dangerous. But still very, very harsh. Okay, ultimate now popped down, going for the rundown. Strom does a lot of damage right now with the finished Ags. DJ just has to run. He's not really able to survive this. He can't turn around, can't nuke because of the slow coming out from Razor. Richie D gets hit by the Purge. That actually might be enough to get the kill. Stuck in auto attacks, slow animation. Out comes the Rock, and there goes the Disruptor. And now this pushes on. Science Grunt is fairly low on HP himself. Razor himself is a little bit low as well, about 800 HP. So they're kind of low, but with the two very important supports now down for regular Dangerous, they should be able to pick up this tower. Really still quite a bit of damage. Albino Albert in the area though. Can he get a good Mystic Snake? Bounces on two, but doesn't hit the lower HP targets. As a cat, I did not know you could Shadow Word that. Neat. I don't think what he was going for, but neat nonetheless. Golem goes down. They pick up the supports, but they don't get anything out of it. They just get some tower damage, not a whole lot. I'd say that's actually not. It's not a good trade. I would not want to make that trade again, but it's not the worst thing possible. It gave more gold in the end to Albino Albert who picked up the golem. So they got something nice out of it, and they didn't lose too much. So I'll take that. And of course, it does use the very long cooldown on the Chaotic Offering. The Rock is down. Dupe has used his ultimate. Not sure from what though. Let's go ahead and check the gold graph one more time. About 8,000 in favor of Nabi, the Quad City Dendies. That's a decent lead. That's a pretty solid lead. Inexperience is still not doing as well. Only 6,000, but they've kind of turned around the early advantage that regular Dangerous had going in that regard. Doom, what's he building towards? Has Shadowblade mech, so this is more of an offensive auto-attacky Doom in that regard. I would love to see him pick up something like a Direwolf at this point, just because Shadowblade gives him quite a bit of attack speed. And those auto-attacks, with just a Direwolf, you almost need no items, are insane. But what's the plan from regular Dangerous? Their supports are getting picked up. They've been kind of holding okay, but now they're smoked up looking for something. The problem is there is no one from the enemy team nearby. I'd say also a problem is that Geg is leading the pack. Geg is quite fast himself. You do get extra move speed from that Witchcraft passive. Do you? Yeah. Try wait. Pretty sure you do. But you know the slow support's stuck in the back when we're actually in range to initiate on anybody, anyways. Unfortunately. What level is Disruptor's Glimpse? Now level 2. Can't catch people from quite far away.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I'm on Nabi. I mean, I just want to keep looking for pickups. They can go for a straight team fight as well. Like that's the cool thing. If they have Razor running down a single Luna and it turns into a team fight, then it turns into Chaotic Offering, that turns into Echo Slime, that turns into a whole bunch of scary ults. Blink Dagger not quite finished for Earthshaker. Needs about 200 gold. There we go. This is Earthshaker on the way to Blink Dagger. Takes that Crypt Swarm to the face and does care. I was gonna say he doesn't care, but really he actually backs on out. They know Death Prophet's bot. They have 2 Shadow Blades on the side of Navi. This is counterable. But I think Albert's about to get wrecked. They're not confident going after him though. He is very tanky. They could still get the Doom onto him, just because Doom could always pop level death or the net into a Doom, but Doom not having enough mana for this. Unfortunately, Doom's in a sticky situation actually, because between Doom, Mech, and Shadowblade, that's most of his mana pool gone. If he gets hit by like a coincidental Mystic Snake, he might not have enough mana for his spells. Strom in the mid lane just applying some pressure. There goes Aegis, just walks into him. DJ can pop the ultimate, might actually pick up the kill. Eclipse does clean him up. A lot more gold coming in their favor. You can see Doom got used on the Lincoln Sphere. That's gotta sting. Ultimate pop now by Medusa. Gonna walk on out. Should be fine. The ultimate will not be affecting, of course, good old Warlock Golem. But he goes for the Doom. He doesn't have enough mana in his pool to actually pop the Lincolns and use Doom at that point, and it's a wasted ultimate. But Albano's ultimate is on cooldown as well, so you won't be able to hard initiate onto that. This is where the comebacks start. This is where you start seeing the turnarounds. Doom has this really cool kit, but he can't actually... Can he actually get an ult off onto Albano Albert and use his items? So 75 mana. Like, I'm just going to do the math right now. 225, 425. Okay. He can just about get a level death off, and then use all of his other spells. So Doom's luckily kind of not neutered in that regard. It would be really bad if he couldn't cast all his spells. He actually can't cast all his spells. He won't get the Ensnare off, but he can replace that with like a Direwolf or something, or just something with a really good passive aura. Actually, he needs to get rid of the Ensnare right now because he just doesn't have the mana pool for it. But they're gonna run into a situation where if they get scared to actually do stuff like we saw earlier, they're gonna fall slowly further and further behind. If that's the case, well, Medusa's gonna farm up. Troll Warlord is good, but he's still in the end. He's more effective as a melee carry. If you can't get into melee range, I'd say he does kind of peter off in that regard. Smoke it and reveal. Albano Albert off to the side. Medusa just able to walk away though. Albano Albert's pretty scary, and Troll Warlord, while he's fast, could catch up with Shadowblade. I can see the fear of actually fully engaging on that. Medusa's ultimate doesn't have a long cooldown, already available, only 90 seconds actually, so that's hard to engage on. I think Medusa's actually going to be fine in most circumstances until they start picking up stuff. Actually, does Medusa's ultimate go through BKB? Yeah, it does. Okay, so even BKBs won't be enough. Go ahead, check out some item builds, see who's building what. Let's hit the actual right tab. So you can see now 4-staff finish on Warlock, then go over the straight Ags build. The push is coming on now. Are there any major items that have been picked up since... There we go, there's a Blink Dagger. The Ags is picked up on Razor, now the Blink Dagger finished as well. In terms of major items over on the side of regular Dangerous, not that much has really been picked up. Geg now has a Bloodstone, which is nice. But overall, nobody's that scary quite yet, except for Albano Albert, who is picking up pace quite well. DJ KFM does have that Black King Bar. Black King Bar, not the best item against the enemy team, unfortunately, because so much goes through it. Doom's ultimate. The damage doesn't, but the mute does. Warlock and his ultimate goes through it. This, once again, the stun does, but not the damage. Troll Warlord can just kind of run at the enemy. He still gets his stuns. He still gets the auto attacks off. The attack speed, of course, is not affected. Like there's a lot that does not really care about the BKB, or at least in terms of CC, and that leaves Razor, who does a lot of damage through BKB with either Storm and Static Link, to do what he wants. Still, it's going to stop damage. I think at this point Luna just needs more HP, needs more tankiness. DJ KFM has a good auto attack. Luna, of course, has a really solid auto attack just from Lunar Blessing, and a little bit of damage. But I think his big goal now isn't so much I need to be that big DPS monster. His big goal is I need to not die off to the side because they happen to land some damage out of me, and to say, oh yeah, let's kill Luna while we're at it. So if the BKB stops damage, that might be enough right there, just to go ahead and let DJ KFM either stay alive in the fight or waste time, waste spells. You know, there is still a Medusa that has quite a bit of damage off to the side. I do want to see how they transition Albano Albert into the late game. What do they go for? What do they build into? If they just keep going for the tankiness, it should be effective, but you know, they might want to build some more just outright DPS, because if you build just straight tankiness, you do risk the chance of Berserker's Rage, permastun, stuff like that. Stuff like that Medusa normally doesn't have that much of a problem with, but if it does happen, could be tremendously bad. And Troll Warlord is doing quite well in the farm game. In terms of net worth, though, it's going to be Doom, then Medusa, then Luna. Luna's Luna's farm, Luna's just squishy. And way in the bottom ranks is going to be Disruptor in line. That's kind of the scary part of this. Big grouping coming out. Razor pops the ultimate, just run towards the enemy team. Pops the plasma field, does connect with the Bound Albert. Can they start this fight though? Oh, come on, dude! Dave, it already happened! You already used a Doom on Lincolns before. They pop 2 ultimates, get nothing for it. Regular Dangerous can now try and chase this down. They actually do pop the Eclipse. This is not the game for ultimates to land, apparently. Force Staff actually going to keep the Mystic Snake going. Will connect quite well, but not do all that much, unfortunately. Can they get a good follow-up, though? Bruce ultimate is popping. The enemy team kind of actually running towards it now. Good CC on to everybody except Schmeck in the background, trying to get in range to go ahead and get the ultimate off. But he's hit by the silence, hit by the Hex. No Echo Slam. Actually, Echo Slam was used and do a whole lot. Nabi, they chased it down, then turned towards the fight. They did not need to fight Medusa. They could have kept running away. Medusa's ultimate does nothing if you're not facing her. And in the end, they lose 3, get nothing for it. And now they have 2 low HP carries. Actually, Strong want to go down. Got 3D for the last hit, 3 for the defense against the push. And now, despite the fact that they had, how big was that gold lead? About 10,000. They missed their important skills, and they're going to lose a Rex for it. Will they lose the game? Most likely not. Doom's going to be up in 25 seconds. Warlock is up in 5, and Earthshaker up soon. But, unfortunately, like, the Whiff fight, the Whiff game, this is the turnaround now. Actually, Regular Dangerous do stay in the base for a while. Are they going to keep going for the push? A little scary if they actually do so, but it looks like they're going to back on out now. The smart play, the safe play. And they might get run down here. Earthshaker does have a blink there. If you get a blink into a fissure, Michi D is dead. Pops down the ward while trying to escape. Aegis off to the side. We'll be safe. We'll be A-okay. Has a mech recipe too. So they'll have the mechanism finally finished. That fight, man. Nabi, the Quad City Dendies are unfortunately dunking themselves more so than getting the dunks in the enemy team. It was a good fight at first. They just could not land the initial CC. They could have backed on out. And alright guys, if the enemy team's running into you and you can just run away, sometimes you just have to run away. They had Earthshaker, they had Fissure, they had ways to keep disengaging him, and Medusa's ultimate doesn't do a damn thing if it's not facing you. So they really could have just walked away from that, but they went for the full to middle. They fought into the Medusa. That's the problem. They have to have the confidence to start a fight and then walk away from Medusa. Medusa doesn't do that much damage. Medusa's not that scary outside of her ultimate. The ultimate is what makes everything so huge, though, because it's amplifying the damage from Luna. Like, it's essentially 2 split shots. You have split shot, the actual ability, and then you have Luna's bounce. And 250 damage being amplified by what is it now, max rank? 40%? 50%. Like, those bounces are doing ridiculous damage. Split shot's doing ridiculous damage, but only while the stun is applied. They need to back away, walk away, stay safe. You don't need to fully commit into the Medusa. Going for the fight. Out comes Chaotic Offering, though. Does catch up Disruptor. In comes the Eclipse. It's huge ball fest. Unfortunately, Medusa tanky in the middle. A stun does land. Once again, they're facing Medusa into the Stone Gaze. Meg comes in late with the Echo Slam. Echo Slam, unfortunately, a little bit too late. And that's 4 down. That could be game, actually. It's just Science going on his own, trying to defend this. Gets hit by the Moonbeam. The actual name of the skill, Lucent Beam. Damn. I think that was a Han name. Sorry. Sorry about that. And now, what's the defense? What do you do if you're Nabi? They're down for 15 seconds on Warlock. I'd say the more important Razor is down for 45. Doom uses buyback. Doom's off cooldown. But will he actually? Who can he Doom right now that would actually stop this push? I mean, he can't do Medusa because of Lincoln's. And if he does do Medusa, it doesn't stop her anyway. Same thing with Luna right now, who's now just absolutely terrifying. They're getting the initiation, but they're not getting the follow-up afterwards. They got the Chaotic Offering. They killed Disruptor. Awesome. But they didn't stop Luna. They didn't stop Medusa. And then they don't stop fighting versus Medusa. Look at this gold. Look at this gold swing. You can just see the turnaround fights. Like all of these kills in favor. Regular Dangerous. Top tower going to be taken out quite quickly. They're going to have all 5 strong and 3 big ultimates up. No Echo Slam, no Chaotic Offering. So they should be able to defend this, or at least keep it alive for a little bit longer. Try and install it. I can't talk anymore. My throat's so dry. Chaotic Offering's up in 60 seconds. Or Trigger Ultimate up in 35. If they can wait till that'll be their big time to turn around. But the problem is, Death Prophet has the ultimate in 5. Eclipse is going to sync up quite well with the Chaotic Offering. and they're not hitting the right targets. They're killing the squishy supports. It's awesome, but when you dedicate so much to it, and then don't walk away from Medusa or don't really stop Luna, you're gonna lose the fight right afterwards. I think they just need to kind of get the ultimate from Doom early onto Luna. Eclipse is just it's doing too much. It's like now it's getting complicated. When it gets complicated, that's when you start running into these really odd plans. And when those plans start getting chaotic, start getting weird, it's hard to follow through with them. I think Nabi can actually still turn around a fight. It's just gonna be really hard for them, really dangerous. They're gonna need to essentially commit kill supports, Doom, Luna, and then wait up Medusa's ultimate. But you can't really do that. Like that's not a solid plan. That's not reliable. That's not something I could say. Yeah, you can do that consistently. I just do not want to walk away from Medusa. Ultimate does land onto Science Ground from Lion. Does he have the eggs? No, so just using actually a long cooldown for the harass and the damage. His ultimate hasn't been really that important in team fights because everybody's kind of dying at the same time. So that is something I can see using it, but that is a long cooldown down. Go Snake, go! Go Snake, go! Alright, in comes the push. Gegs has used the ultimate, Disruptor ultimate on to Schmeg. Can they pick him out before he just walks away? In comes Luna with the Eclipse, gonna just run towards the enemy team, picks up Earthshaker. There goes the Echo Slam. In comes Gaelic offering. Doom, who does it land onto? Onto Geg off to the side, but the Death Prophet ultimate is out. If he can just walk away from this, he'll be fine. Can they pick up the kill? They do secure it, trying to turn it around as much as possible. Razor off to the side now, getting a good static link down. DJ KFM taking a lot of damage, but not quite enough to secure the kill. Razor just has back on out, and they pick up Disruptor, they pick up Death Prophet, who already respawned because of the Bloodstone, and can they actually pick up anything else? Medusa is relatively low on HP, about half, and relatively low on mana. Mitchie is dead! Mitchie just walking into Razor! He walked the Storm, and Storm struck him back. So they hold. They lose a tower, which is pretty nasty. Can they pick up a kill on the Battle Albert? Lincoln's up now, so can't really land anything onto him. They don't have a whole lot that wouldn't be that effective anyways. The level death would have interrupted him. Actually, the Instar would. The both would.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
As that goes on, mid tower falls. So they hold, but they still lose a lot of ground. They lose gold. They lose a top tower. They lose a mid tower. They can no longer walk out of base and expect their base to hold for a while. Before, like, all right, you walk out of base, supers will walk here, deal some damage, but it won't be enough to reliably kill your tower. But they spent so much time defending top lane that they actually do lose a mid tower. And now this is a scary, scary game. They're committed to their base. They're stuck in their base for quite a lot of time, or at least until mid lane's pushed way the hell out. There is no extra tower for them to defend in the top lane, so when they go for that heavy push, guess what? Regular dangerous, they can just kind of bully on through. I think at this point, they have the bully potential. Medusa is big and fat, has Lincoln's Manta and that extra Daedalus, so it's going to be hard to actually stop her. I mean, pretty much the same case with Luna. Luna is still is no longer a little squishy. Luna is not very tanky. 26 armor, has a Satanic, has a BKB, has a Manta. She essentially has 3 defensive items, and because of the base damage from Lunar Blessing and kind of everything, that gives her a little bit of damage. Manta is pretty good defensively, but also offensively. BKB is really good defensively, but has an extra bit of 16 damage, and kind of the same thing for Satanic. She still hits quite hard. So this is, I mean, I think they had a chance before. I think their time has run out. Nabi, the Quad City Dendies. It's the 4th quarter. You're down by like 40 points. How are you going to do this? How are you going to score enough 3-pointers to come back? I should stop making dunk analogies, especially because 3-pointers aren't dunks. Luna could be walking into the side here. If they catch him out, maybe they could pick up the kill, but no. Instead, they're going around. The smart, safe play from Luna, who's going to walk into Strom, actually. Strom going for the kill. Luna's fast, though, just walks out. Echo Slam onto 2. Deals quite a bit of damage. Good figure to follow up afterward. Doesn't get taken out, but they do pick up Earthshaker walking on out. In comes Medusa ultimate. In comes Luna. In comes all of the damage, all of the burst. They're trying to do something, but in the end, it just doesn't matter. It's a wall of death. You fight into Medusa, you're fighting into Geg's ultimate, you're fighting into me clicking off the screen, you're fighting into the Eclipse. And the second they commit, the second they're even just near them, actually, I don't even know if they could disengage at this point. They're just walking into the death ball, and I think regular dangerous. They're advancing, they're making it to round 2. Mitchie D, a team that I saw had some trouble in scrims. They really play well as a team late game, and they're just going to take this out as the bounces are ridiculous from Luna. That looks silly. Well, let's see some crazy silly bounces. Oh, I love good bounce animation. The game's not over yet, though. TC is a god, but a god is dead, though. Is there buyback available? No, there is no buyback available for anybody. We do get the custom death profit line for Warlock, though. Hell yeah. And regular dangerous. They're gonna go ahead, take out the ancient. Not a lot of defense. Doom gonna walk towards Luna, pop out the ultimate, but that's nothing. And that is GG. Well played, coming out from Science Crown. And that's it. That's the first best of 3 of the Recreational. Regular dangerous. Gonna be out, coming in. They looked like they might have been taken out, but they played solid. They really just grouped up together well, had a good early game plan for game 1, transitioned that well in the mid game, and then this game, their team play later on, they just abused Medusa. I guess Medusa just banned that shit versus Albino Albert. He doesn't get to play that hero anymore. That's no longer allowed in this tournament. Medusa not a top pick in TI4, but in the Recreational 1, that Medusa is something that you're gonna deal with it. You're gonna ban that out. We're gonna have a plan against that. That was a fun game. That was fun to cast. There are other games today. I'm not going to be casting them because my throat would not be able to survive that. But later today, actually right now, I think we have Game is Hard versus AC Slater. I want to say that's on Recreational too, so let me go ahead and link that. Now, if that's Recreational, if that's AC Slater, that is a team with AC on it, which I think he's one of the guys that most people tend to know, at least when watching the Dota scene. So I'm going to spam that link in chat as much as I can. And then, go there. Go to that place. And with that, first best of 3 done. Congratulations to Regular Dangerous for advancing into round 2. We'll actually check out the bracket really quickly. They will be playing, oh man, they haven't updated it yet. They'll be playing the winner of League of Legends versus Poutine King Bar, who will be playing tomorrow. League of Legends, of course, the team with Brad Shoemaker, and I believe Poutine King Bar is the French-Canadian Sony Entertainment team, so that should be fun to watch. But yeah, with that, I am done.